Okay, this is part two. Hopefully, we will get things squared away. I don't know where I left off when it cut off. I've been trying to figure out where we left off. So if you guys start trickling in the chat, please let me know where I left off. Because I went a little bit. What happened was we had a little hiccup, and I had to kickstart my internet back up. So I don't know quite where I left off. And if we need to just end it here and then I delete this this stream, that's fine. So hold on a second. Let me tweet that I'm live again. We'll just kick this off. I'll start over. I mean, I don't care. It's um it's I think this is a topic that I feel like I want a lot of you guys to respond to. So I'm gonna try to tweet some of y'all and get y'all back in here, and we can talk together. And let's get this kick started. Let me go back to my live streaming page. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. Okay, it looks like I'm live again. Thought they got you, Corey. OMG. Yeah, I'm back, guys. I don't know where I left off in the last time. It stinks too because I was a little bit on a roll, but it's really unfortunate because I don't know where I left. But the main points are, hey, let's stop killing each other online. Let's stop killing the media online, and let's stop drawing conclusions about Jameis online. And let's wait for actual facts to play out. I see some of you trickling in here, guys. Let me know where I left off in the last stream if you were here, if you remember where the last part I mentioned, because I did go a little bit longer without noticing that the stream had cut out. So, but anyway, my main thing and my main issue is that we have news that Jameis might be suspended for 3 games. We have news that there was a third passenger, and it was a guy who is now currently in jail for rape. Not a good look. Those are the only facts we have. Now, everybody is drawing their conclusions and sticking their flags in their opinions, saying either Jameis needs to be cut, or the media is after Jameis, or Jameis is a saint, whatever your opinion is. And we're all basing it off of rumors and reports. We don't know how many games Jameis is suspended for exactly. Now, when Schefter tweets something, it usually can be taken as gospel. So that's, we can take it there. But we don't know if it's conditional. We don't know why there is a suspension. There's still only speculation there. Obviously, there were rumors that it could be because he didn't comply. But that there seems to be conflicting reports on that. It seems to have come out that there were indeed 3 guys in the car, but there's also reports that there actually might have been a separate Uber ride. But we don't know who was driving that second Uber ride. There's so much we don't know, guys. And it's killing me that I'm seeing on Twitter people just blowing up Greg Allman and blowing up Rick Stroud and the media, the Imputer Report, the dear media members that we cling to for news. We're suddenly attacking them. We're attacking each other, and it's a hot button issue. I know, I get it. It's a very, very serious accusation, and one that shouldn't be taken lightly. I get it. And if Jameis is guilty, he deserves to be punished. The extent of that punishment we can debate, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Jameis has disappointed me in the decisions he's made, and the fact that he put himself in this situation, especially knowing this was his first year being in the NFL, and he's trying to clear his name during this year, and he decides to go out and get just completely hammered, allegedly, and hang out with 2 really shady people, one of which was with him during his previous sexual allegation. And I feel like Jameis needs to pull a Ray Lewis, and I don't know if I said this in my last stream, but he needs to take a page out of Ray Lewis's book and not do anything. I mean, he needs to set up guardrails. I mean, so Ray Lewis, once he was in that whole murder, or did he not, whatever, and he escaped out of it, he went completely clean, and you never heard anything about Ray Lewis after that. Jameis needs to do the same thing. He needs to lose whatever friends he needs to lose. He needs to not go out at night and maybe implement the Dungy rule, which is, hey, nothing good ever happens after midnight. And say, hey, you know what? I'd love to hang out with you guys. Jameis is super extroverted. I get it. But because of what he has done to himself, the decisions he's made in his past, he's got to realize that he has to go another level of protection for himself. And that is something that has disappointed me about this whole situation, is that he put himself in that place to begin with. So, Jay, until I get facts, I'm standing by Winston. That's my quarterback. Jay, I love that you are doing that. I honestly can't go that far and saying I'm standing by Jameis because he has disappointed me. But I agree with you that we need to really wait until all the facts come out before we say we need to cut Jameis and hint Tom Jones. And we need to know what the suspension is for. And we need to know how long the suspension is. And we need to know the results of the NFL's investigation. And I'm sure all of this will unfold itself once the suspension is official. But we just gotta wait, guys. I hate that as a society we have to be black and white, and we have to plant our flags in something without having all of the facts. And it's just the result of the 24-hour news cycle society that we live in. It's this way in politics. So that's the thing that upsets me the most. I want to hear from you guys, like what are you most disappointed in, and what do you think about this whole situation? I'd love to chat with you guys now that I see there's 7 of you here. Let me know in the chat your thoughts, because I honestly, I don't know if you guys are into personality profiles at all, but if you know the Enneagram, it has numbers 1 through 9. It's 9 different personality types. I'm an Enneagram 9, and that's known as the peacemaker. And basically the peacemaker hates conflict. I mean, that's putting it really in a small box. There's a whole lot more to it, but essentially the peacemaker hates conflict. That's me. So I see Bucs fans just going at each other. I see them attacking media members like Greg Allman, who we all should love dearly for all the news that he gives us. And it hurts me. Like, it tears me up inside. I've had to stay away from Twitter a little bit, and I've had to just dabble in Reddit a little bit. Because, man, it's getting nasty out there. People are just assuming the worst. Why do we assume the worst of people? Again, I understand that Jameis has a history, and that is indeed what has upset me about this whole situation. But we don't have all the facts yet. Yeah, we can draw conclusions, we can fill in the gaps, we can fill in the dots, but we only know just a smidgen of what happened that night, and also what the NFL has found in their investigation. So, Paul, if he is guilty, what should be his punishment? That is one that I don't want to get into yet. I said in the last stream that got cut off, Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape. I don't think it ever went to actual trial. I think it might have been settled. I can't remember the result of that one, but he got 6 games. And that was his second accusation. And I feel like as long as there's reasonable doubt, you shouldn't cut him from the team. Let's put it that way. Jameis should not be cut if there's reasonable doubt. If it is proven that he's guilty, then yeah, we should cut him. We'll move on. But I want to be careful of just throwing a guy under the bus when we have such little facts. And that's what actually surprised me about Tom Jones, a media member. I expect this a little bit from the fans, but media members, that just blows my mind. I disagree with Tom Jones, but you're not going to see me attack him on Twitter. You're not going to see me you're not going to see me say how much of an idiot he is and how he deserves to lose his job and how he has this vendetta against Jameis or the Bucs or whatever. Come on, guys. Like, nobody's like that. You watch too many movies. Jay, I'm disappointed in Winston's camp for not putting anything out or saying anything. So that one's a little tricky, and this is all speculation, Jay. But speaking to the point that Winston hasn't said anything, that may be at the advisement of his lawyers. If it is a thing that is being investigated and may potentially go to court, then I could totally see lawyers being like, no, don't say anything. Like, just keep your mouth shut until we figure out what's going on. So that could be it. Honestly, given what I know of Jameis's personality, he's the type of person that will want to talk and want to clear the air. So the fact that he's gone silent, I feel like either may be mandated by the NFL or could be advised by his lawyers. I am disappointed that he's not outright saying this is untrue. Now, he did say that when the initial allegations became public. He came out and said this wasn't true, and also it was established that he told the Bucs that it wasn't true. So that's another thing. If he is guilty, that's another. He straight lied to us. He lied to the fans. He lied to the Bucs organization, and then therefore he is not mature enough to be the leader of this franchise. So, but we don't know. We don't know yet. So it's all speculation. What do you guys think? I mean, what do you think the punishment should be? What do you think? Where do you think it should go if he's found guilty? Where do you think it should go if it is just as nebulous right now as it stands? Given the facts that we have right now, what do you think it should be? If we cut Jameis, then it's Johnny Football time. Oh my gosh, I hope you're not referring to Johnny Manziel, Paul, because dear Lord, if you cut a quarterback for getting drunk and groping a woman, and then put Johnny Manziel on your team, that's just asking for it. Najee Harris, Winston has to do better by watching who he hangs around. Do you think the NFL handles investigations well? Yeah, Najee, I completely agree with you. That is the number one thing I'm most disappointed with in Jameis. And I said this in the stream that was cut off earlier. He has severely disappointed me in his choice of friends. And Jameis is a happy-go-lucky guy. We know who he is personally. He loves hanging out with people. And you can tell he's a positive guy. He's an optimistic guy. So I don't see Jameis as the type of guy who can dump friends easily, but he needs to stop hanging out with Ronald Darby. Darby's the one who brought in the guy who was accused of rape and was the third person in that car. Jameis needs to never, ever, ever be around someone that shady, because during that time, that guy was being investigated. So Jameis has to go above and beyond to be careful about who he hangs out with. I'm hopeful that getting married, that having a child, these things, having a home life, these things will prevent him from doing these things again and will help mature him a little bit as they do. We all saw Mike Evans. He was pretty immature when he started out in this league, but he had a child, he got married, and he's mellowed out quite a bit. So I hope that's what's in store for Jameis. I hope it's already happened, because remember, this happened in his first season. So, or just after his first season. So that's my hope for Jameis. And he absolutely needs to watch who he hangs around. 100%. You got to set up guardrails. Knowing who he is, knowing the spotlight that is on him, knowing his history, he has to be smarter. And that's what disappoints me about this whole thing, whether he's guilty or not. Do you think the NFL handles investigations well? I don't know, because I don't know how they conduct their investigations. I don't think they hand out punishments well. I think they're too scared about what people think of them. This whole thing is happening because of Ray Rice. They had Ray Rice accused of domestic abuse. They didn't find any evidence. They gave him a 2-game suspension, and then suddenly someone else found evidence, and damning evidence, actual video of him cold cocking his girlfriend. And that was bad PR for the NFL. People reamed the NFL for it. So the NFL is like, all right, we're going to punish severely in order to avoid any type of backlash. That's why you saw it happen to Ezekiel Elliott last year. That's why it stayed 6 games, because the NFL is like, nope, because if someday tape comes out and we had reduced it to 2 games, that's bad on us. So they're protecting the shield. Whether or not that's good, I don't know. I can understand where they're coming from there. Jay, also mad about how long it took the NFL to come to a conclusion about this. Me too, Jay, but if it means that they were doing their due diligence, then I'm fine with it. If it is because they're lagging and they don't have the resources, then I'm kind of pissed off about it. But it is what it is. What's up, Red or Blue? Thanks for joining us, man. Najee, should investigation have taken so long? Yeah, so that we don't know. We don't know how how the investigation worked. We don't know how many people were on it. If it was just one person. I know they hired a woman who has done other investigative cases. I don't know if that's a word, but she's done other investigations on cases like this. And if they take this long because of due diligence, if they're really turning over every stone, then I'm fine with it taking this long. I mean, it sucks for our team, but it is what it is. It sucks for Jameis, but if it ends up in them finding substantial evidence one way or the other, then I'm okay with it. If it ends up in nothing, then, well, yeah, it sucks. But Najee, domestic violence is domestic violence. Sad a tape had to come out for them to finally change it. Yeah, Najee. This is something. This reminds me of a topic that is really hot button, and it's the question on whether or not the NFL should just slap down suspensions when there's no proven guilty in the court of law. There's no solid evidence. And what the NFL did with Ray Rice was they kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. They did their own investigation, found no evidence, and they gave him 2 games, which seems like a logical thing to do. But then when the tape came out, that was all she wrote, and suddenly the NFL is okay with domestic violence in the public opinion's eye. It's kind of a lose-lose situation there, because then say they suspended, and well, I mean, we have a recent example now. They suspended Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games, and suddenly now the NFL is too hard on its players. So what do you do there if you're the NFL? Yeah, they handled them poorly. They handled suspensions poorly. Domestic violence should be taken seriously, absolutely. But the NFL is not the court of law. The NFL is a business, and each business has their different policies. I personally work for a business that has very strict policies on certain things. I saw a coworker get fired over something that was really not a big deal, but when you sign on to be a part of an organization that has rules, you must abide by those rules, and then you're subject to punishment. And the current CBA has the NFL's rules what they are, whether we like it or not. So, and just like domestic violence, sexual abuse or sexual, nefariousness. I mean, any type of inappropriate touching, or even just treating a woman like she's lesser than a man, that should be. Somebody should get their comeuppance from it. Should it be the NFL to do it? Yes and no. There's gray areas. There's no unfortunate black and white answer to that. This is a serious allegation against Winston. Since the allegation is there, the NFL has its right to suspend him, and they have the right to give him 3 games. Is that the appropriate amount given what we know? Sure. If it comes out that he's guilty and there's videotape, there needs to be way more suspension, possibly cutting him. So this is my point. It's all gray area. It's not black and white. And man, guys, as fans, we need to be smarter, and we need to have grace for each other. We need to realize that everybody has their own opinions, and they're coming from their own place of hurt and their own kind of upbringings that forms their opinions. And number one, we just need to give Jameis the benefit of the doubt until we have more information, but we need to give each other the benefit of the doubt. So those of you who are attacking media members for even just reporting news, not even having an opinion, that's ridiculous, guys. I mean, calm down. We're all on the same team. It's unfortunate that Jameis has put us all in this situation. Jameis has done this to us. Whether or not he is innocent, he put himself in this situation, and therefore I am disappointed in him for it. But does that mean he deserves to be cut from the team? No, not yet. Does that mean he deserves more than 3 games? No, not yet. I think there's a lot more to be said about this, but we'll wait until all the news comes out. So can we promise to all wait for a bit before? Let's calm down. Let's take away the assumption of guilt of Jameis, the assumption of everyone wanting the worst of people. Like, let's believe the best in people and try to think of ways in which they could be right, or at least understand why they think they are right. Understanding is the key. So I'm worried because my stream is hiccuping right now, so hopefully it is okay. but yeah, let's just be nice to each other. If I'm going to leave you guys with that, let's have grace with each other. Let's be kind to each other. And unless you guys have any other thoughts, I'll wrap it up. But thanks for joining me so much for this, guys. It is a conversation that needs to be had, and one that I think we can all learn from, and we'll talk about it more. Join me next week for the live stream Wednesday at 9. Hopefully it doesn't cut out in the middle of the live stream the next time, and maybe there's more news next week. So Real Talk Perez, there isn't any legal investigation. Yeah, I think that's an important part, or an important point, is that there have been no charges filed, no charges by the female, which some say that is actually a sign that will that the girl is actually legitimately, she experienced something, because on the other side, if she was just trying to money grab, she would be out in the open, but she's not. She's been kind of pulled back and she hasn't pressed charges. So that's something to consider. But at the same time, she may just want no part of this, no part of the Twitter, people, the hardcore football fans giving her death threats. I'm sure she doesn't want any of that. So whether or not it happened, I'm sure she's trying to avoid it. So again, thanks for joining, guys. Join me next week, Wednesday at 9. I have a video coming soon. It has nothing to do with this. It is an evergreen content, but it is a debate the Bucs fans have gone through. I've kind of delayed it because of this whole investigation thing, but it's coming soon. It's me in the studio, high quality, so it's coming soon. Thanks, guys, everybody who joined. Thanks for jumping in on the second one, and we'll see you next week. Until then, go Bucs, and let's pray for innocence, and let's pray for justice if there is no innocence. See you guys.